Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
If you want proof that artificial intelligence is taking over the world, I present Gnomeland. Gnomeland had to have been created by artificial intelligence. It's like an alien came down and said, I want to create a Euro board game. What am I going to do? This is that game. Everything in it is paint by numbers, from even down to the theme of using Gnomeland. Like it's so generic and so bizarre and so odd. And that's what you find here. I don't know if this was designed for kids as an entry-level kind of Euro game or what. I don't know how it was marketed. I just kind of found this game in my collection and I played it and I was like, whoa, this is one of the most boring experiences I've ever had in my life. Matter of fact, this is one of the few games that we quit halfway through it. I was like, I see the game. Everything is so simple. But I was so bored out of my mind, I couldn't even finish it. And I think that if I'd been at a game and we played with my buddies and they would have said, no, I want to continue this game, I think, depending on who it was, I would have ended that friendship immediately and walked away from the table and said, you know what? Your friendship isn't worth playing this game. And I'll say that in jest, just to be funny. But this game is one of the most paint by numbers, boring experience of getting resources to trade them in to get a victory point that I've ever played in my life, to the point where there really wasn't anything interesting going on. Now, your actions are limited in this one, so you can't just do whatever you want. But I think that made the game worse. Well, usually that makes the game better. I don't know. I did not have fun with this one. The analysis paralysis was too heavy in it. The theme was completely uninspired. And I never had a moment where I was like, I'm glad I'm doing this instead of something else. The whole time, I just wanted to end. I'm going to review this in this review with the thought of one thing. Do not play this game. Don't even look at it. If you want to know how bad it is, it works. So there's a difference between a game that's broken, and there's a difference between a game that it just doesn't work or it's lazy design. This is actually a pretty fairly good design. I mean, it takes a lot of things from other board games, but just does it in the most boring way possible. Purge. Here is Gnomeland, which has a very striking cover. You can see all these gnomes. They're all acting a little bit differently. Very, very good. You're going to get a rulebook here, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. And then you are going to have these player boards, which are really nice and colorful. And they're all exactly the same, except for the artwork on them a little bit different and the colors that you see on there. And then this will be the main board. This will be mainly used just to hold cards, and you have a scoring track around it. You're going to get some dice and some generic cubes, not very thematic on stuff that you're going to have here. Everybody's going to have these little gnome meeple-like guys that are really, really cute. You can see here they have like little hats. They're pretty much regular meeples, except for the hat curves a little bit. But they're super cute and nice little touch. And then the cards themselves are going to be these little small cards. They look pretty good. You can see easily what is going to be on them, and the cost is very easy to utilize and be able to use. The box is a little bigger than it needs to be very honest. No insert to speak of. I guess, it fits the board perfectly this way, but, much bigger than it had to be to fit what little components are actually in here. Here's a book. It's double-sided with different languages on each side. It's going to be one of those a little bit larger square ones that you're going to have. Picture of the components over here, which is nice. Touch a little bit of the setting and the goal of the game. So you have everything set up right here, and a picture of setup. As you can see, it gives you the little bit of the instructions. And then oddly enough, it starts on the next page with even more setup. And that's going to be throughout this. It's going to start something, and it's going to go on over like they were trying to squeeze it in, although it's not the smallest of rule books either. Plenty of examples. You can see full color pictures and explanations as you go through. And the rule book is a little wobbly. The game is very simple, which I think makes the rule book better. You do have a collection of the cards and what they all do here, and then a card index that you can have everything listed. This is really nice. I wish more games did this. Then the rest of it is just a different language. I would probably give this a 7 for the rule book, but the game is simple enough that you won't have any issues. So to set up, each player is going to get their own mat here that will have their 6 starting buildings. You'll take your gnomes, your 3 dice, deck of building cards. You're going to put 2 of these cards out from the action deck,
2 of the missions, a wizard, and your mercenary cards. Then you are set up to play. You have your scoring here that will go around the board. So on your turn, you're going to roll the 3 dice, and you're going to utilize these dice to activate the different buildings that you have. And that's going to be the general concept of the game. You're also going to have these gnomes that you can play out, and each round you'll be placing your dice, activating them for resources, trading those resources in, hopefully in a way that will garner you victory points. You can always buy these mercenaries. There's 3 types. You have the merchant, the wizard, and the soldier, and you just pay the cost that's at the top of the card, and then you will have that in your resource pile. You can also build these buildings if you want to by paying the cost that is on it, and then you can upgrade them if you want to the other side. Once you have built them, and you just kind of build them on top of wherever you want over here. So that is a possible action that you would have. You can also complete these missions. They'll have a cost. In this case, it takes a sword and a coin, and then you will get the victory point for doing so. And these will be available up here. You can also trigger these action cards if you want to by taking your gnome and placing it out there. So you either get a mana or a coin that you would be able to get there. And these will do different things. They don't require dice. You just kind of put your gnome out and you can utilize them. Now each player's going to have one of these little tokens. You can also place it here by paying the cost on the wizard card. Then you can take the action that is either gain a coin or steal a coin or a sword from another player. And you can utilize those. And you only have one of these per round that you can utilize and slapping it on there. Same way with the gnomes, you can put those there. The main action you'll be taking is utilizing these dice. You put them down here and you can utilize the spaces that are here and get the goodies that are available. Now these are always available. They have certain items that they give you. These down here, and as you upgrade them, they will get stronger and stronger as you go through. And you can build these up, etc. So your dice will become more useful as they go. Now the main garnishment of the game is going to be, you're going to be gaining coins or swords or mana or whatever, and spinning those over here in order to fulfill missions, in order to score the victory points. And these will get stronger and more powerful as the game goes on. So a very simple game of just resource management. You can buy cards, upgrade your buildings. You're kind of beholden by the dice sum. What are you able to roll? That's going to be what you're going to be able to. Now, the buildings are also going to give you victory points at the end of the game. Whoever, after 5 rounds, whoever has the most victory points is going to be the winner.
Who should buy this game? Nobody. With that said, I don't know if it was marketed this way. If you wanted an entry-level kids game about Euros and resource management, turning this into that, I think this game could play for that. And perhaps if it was marketed that way, this game would be a little bit higher on my tick. But for adults, absolutely not. It's a Purge.